Junior want to not be on my I can't really see what did I miss. Ex-strippers.
Hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your girl, Zuri Viti. This is gonna be the first ever YouTube story time. So this story time, it takes place in Ottawa. For those who knows me, I moved here from Saskatoon. I moved here when I was like, I believe 16. And mind you, I came here with, actually, no, I came here with $1,000. So $1,000, just keep that in mind. So with this $1,000, I managed to pay for all my books because student loans was like, they were playing. Something was going on with, with students loan. So I couldn't, I needed to take time to fix that, and it would take months. And then I didn't have months because I need to go to school, and then school does not wait for you, you know? So I only had $1,000. I managed to put a down deposit down for a apartment that I came here with my classmate. She was from here originally, but she moved to Saskatoon, and then she came back here for school. So she's kind of like my big sister she really did actually really help me out. And me and her, we managed to get an apartment. Within a month, something happened. That's a story for another time. We ended up moving to a different location. Something happened there too. We had to move again. And then once we moved, and then something happened there too. So to a point that my dad was like, hey, let me call my good friend, or let's call family. She has her own story. Look at So I ended up moving with this family friend, and it was like not. She said it was close to school, but I think she was thinking that I was going to college, but I was at different school. So when my dad called me, she's like, "Hey, you can move in with this family friend, blah 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 blah." She says she is close to your school, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. Came to find out, no, she's not. Now that means I have to take like about an hour to go to school and whatever. And after I moved there, I continued going to school, still broke at this time. I was not paying rent, but I would still have to figure out how I'm gonna get to or from school. Mind you, $0 in the account. So I kind of have to scam my way through the buses. I go through the back door, or if they get caught, I can just lie that I lost the ticket or I don't have my ID, all the thing that people usually do. So at this point, I met a guy. So I met one of the person that I met. It was one of my good friend, and then from there, I think he was talking to this other guy that I ended up actually talking to for a while. It came to find out we take the same bus to go back home. So my family's friend, he lives near there. So I was kind of like, oh, sweet. Yay. Why not? My man lives in the same neighborhood as me. Ka-ching, I can just go for a walk, and then we just all the good stuff. So me and him started talking, and to a point that he invited me over to his house. And he said, mind you, I'm broke, and I don't at this point I don't know his situation when it comes to money. So he invited me over. He knows how to cook. He'll cook for me. He asked me what I want. I was like, oh yeah, you know how to cook? He's like, yeah, I know how to cook. What do you want to eat? I was like, I don't know, surprise me. So he was like, well, you know what, let's go to a local farm boy that was walking distance, but I know how to drive, but I didn't have my car. I don't think he knew how to drive at this time. That's another story for another time. And so we walked to the front boy, and I met him there. And so he managed to buy what he needed to buy, and then we proceed with the checkout. His card declined. I don't know. His card declined. I think it was the $20. And then his card declined. So I was kind of if you want, I can cover it. I don't know why I say that, but I think I had some type of either, I was like, if you want, I can cover it, or it's okay. We can go for a walk, or we can just go for a walk. It's not big deal. And he was like, no, I have money. I don't know what's going on with my car, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay. But just he's try again, decline. I was like, you know what? It's okay. We can just go for a walk. I don't mind, But mind you, he's trying to impress me. So he's like trying to like laugh, like he was laughing awkwardly. He's like, he like, no, I do have money. It's like, oh, you just give me 1 minute. And I was like, hey, try again. It didn't go through. And he was like, you know what? Let's go back. Let's walk to my house. I think I took the wrong car. Or let's walk to my house so I can like try and use the Wi-Fi and see what's going on. I can easily call them. So I was like, okay, sure. Like at this point, I was not like scared to go home with a stranger, because at this point he was not a stranger. I think it was like because I was talking to him as a friend at first, and I believe we met at what's it called it we did meet at a party, so it's kind of like it was not really weird, so it's kind of like used to having him around, so it's kind of like, oh yeah, sure, like what can he do, like kill me? So we ended up going to his house. I sat in the living room, and he went upstairs in his room. I think he did what he needed to do, and then we went back, and then boom, the call worked. So I was kind of like, that's weird. But okay, none of my business. He cooked the food, and then I ate. He was really good. He's actually a really good cook. After that, after a couple months of dating, so I kind of like understand his financial situation. In my financial situation, like again, $0 in my account. So, so we started looking for a job, and I was like, okay, we cannot be both broke, because at this time we're eating like hot dog and spaghetti. I mean, the way he was making it was so good, but still, like, we're buying like $2 like hot dog, and then his mom will have like spaghetti at home. 'Cause, mind you, he was used to live with his mom. And he'll cook and he'll eat. It's like, technically that's all. So we started looking for a job. I was like, okay, this is not good. We cannot both be broke. We cannot be both broke. So he was like, yeah. So we started looking for a job. And for the life of me, I couldn't get anybody to call me, because my resume, everything is like, I had experience, but it's just, my experience is like, I was 16, bro. I mean, at this time, I think I already turned 17. And then, so I didn't have any experience. I had like customer service experience, because I used to work at Dairy Queen. So it was like, but technically I didn't have anything on my resume. So it was hard for me to get a job. And then here in Ottawa, it took me over a year to even like get a job. So this was actually my first job. So I believe he got a call, and then, he went for the interview, but since he's not good with people, he's not good with talking with people. So it's like, hey, babe, I believe you should go in and give them a try, because I know you're good with people. You're good with talking. You're good with, like, customer service. So I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, you should just go in. And I'm like, but they don't know about my resume. He was just like, just walk in and just ask for so-and-so, and then just, like, make them do an interview right away. I was like, oh, yeah, for sure. So I remember the first time meeting this general manager of this Harvey. By the way, the restaurant was Harvey. And it was like, he was like super nice. He's not really from here, but also he's not black, but I'm not gonna say where he's from. And the vibe was good. He was talkative, super friendly. Like, the people where he come from, they're all super friendly. So the way he was talking was good. So he gave me an interview. He's like, hey, how are you? I was like, I'm good. So it's like, what make you apply here? I was like, honestly, you just interview one of my good friend. And then he told me to come in, because he knows I'm mostly good with customer service. He was like, oh, he just left. I was like, yeah, he just left, and then I was with them, so he just told me to come in and then have an interview with you. He was like, okay, that's nice. Have you ever worked in Harvey's? I was like, no, I never worked in Harvey, but I have worked in Dairy Queen, blah blah blah, like trying to sell myself out. And I just moved here. Not really, because it's been a year. I just moved here, and I don't really know where to start. And then, and it's kind of like easy for him to like understand where like I'm coming from, how hard it is to be in a big city, coming from a small city, blah blah blah. So at this point, he was like, okay, I like the interview, blah, blah, blah. Are you good to start tomorrow? I was like, are you, like, really? And he was like, yeah, can you start tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, just keep in mind, I'm still in school. So my schedule is going to be a little bit all over the place, but 100% I can work weekends. And I know for sure they're looking for weekend people. So it was like, perfect timing. So finally I got hired. The next day I showed up, and lo and behold, I'm a fast learner, because I hate having people standing over my shoulder, like trying to see, like, oh, teach, like, could continue showing me how to do things. I don't like that. So it's like when you teach me like 2 days max, 2 days, three days max, I will be able to learn everything, and everything else will come with time, right? It will come with just like observing. So I learn fast, so just get everybody off my case so I can just like continue doing my job and continue, you know what I mean? So months passed by, and then finally, I think the first guy, my friend who introduced me to my boyfriend at the time, he had a friend, and then that actually friend, she is now my good best friend, actually, until this day. So I didn't like her at first. Roxanne, you know who you are, but hey. So I didn't like it's not like I didn't like her at first. I was kind of like, and then she was like, oh, you have a bitchy face. Like, now she can tell me that, but before she was like, Satika, you're looking at me like I'm gonna steal your man or something. And I'm like, bro, it's like I didn't know people. It's just like that's my face, you know. And then so she used to work at different Harvey, so I ended up like asking her if she can transfer over. So she ended up transferring over. So me and her began like working, and I am working to get money. Sis is working just to work. So she comes in whenever she wants. She's always late. Love you, sis. She's always like, she doesn't really care. Like, and then it does not bother her because she can get a job like just like that, and it's just like she doesn't like really need it. So every time that she'll call in sick, I will be like, okay, I'll take your shift, because it's like I need those extra hours, right? And then sometimes we just like, okay, when I'm off, and she'll call in sick so we can actually go do stuff. And then this guy always liked to put us on a different like schedule, because it's like two friends, you know. And sometimes we'll be on the same schedule and all that. So it's kind of like, it was fun actually working with her. And I think they hired this other guy. He is a super, super, super duper nice guy. He started working there as a regular person, and then as a regular employee, and then he got promoted to a supervisor, which was good. So that means he was an evening supervisor, and me and Roxanne, we used to be like good friend with this guy. And then his brother ended up working there, but I think at this point I was only doing closing, because I think I had to do is I was still in school, like I said, so we're doing closing. So 99% I was like more like a full-time, not even full-time, I think I was part-time, but I was just working more, picking up shift. So I was like, okay, so I'm picking up shift, and then left and right. And keep in mind, my student loan is still messed up, so I still have to pay for some of the stuff out of pocket. And all my money, when it comes in, it disappears, because it's like I have so much thing that I need to pay for. Plus, at this time, I think I was the only one working, and my boyfriend was not working. And I'm the type of girl, like, if my man is broke, I won't let that happen. Like, I won't let that happen. It's like, if I have money, we have money. You know, you need something, just ask me. Like, if you need something, like, oh, baby, you want to go out? Oh, here's $20, here's $50, here's, like, whatever I have, I will, like, here's take my car, go out with your guy friends, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not like I was spending my money by myself. I was spending my money with my man at the time. So I'm the type of girl, and it's like, if I got it, we both got it, you know? Like, I won't let you, like, in shit. So at this time, so money's coming in, money's leaving. So I was like, okay, I need to pick up a few shifts, because unless I want to get a second job, which is going to be like hard for me to like balance with school, and then this job, and then a third job. Basically, kind of like school is kind of like a job, like a second job. It's crazy. So I was like, oh, damn, I can't. So every time like Roxanne will call in sick, I'll pick up her shift. And every time I go in, they'll ask me to stay extra 1 hour. So I was like, okay, why not? Like, you know, I'm already here. Well, might as well, right? And then I started to notice that this particular general manager will come in for 1 hour and disappear for the remaining of the day. And then he'll just come in from random days, or sometimes he just doesn't come in. And it's kind of like, okay, how they stop paying you? But it's like, I am so young for me to even start questioning that, to even like, okay, how do you make your money? But it's like your general manager, you could be doing a million things. Like you can be like, you can go somewhere to go buy food or go buy like the extra stuff that we don't have, or So it's kind of like it was not my place to like question it, but I was kind of like looking at me and Roxanne were looking at each other. I was like, this guy never be here. Like this nigga never be here. Like where you at? What is he doing? So the moment I walked in, the guy was like, oh, Santike, would you like start early? Because I would like, when Roxanne is working during the morning, I'll come in after work instead of going straight home. Keep in mind, I'm still like scamming the best, right? So when I get the chance to go early, I'll go early and I'll go there like 2-3 hours early. And then I'll just like sit in a corner where I can see Roxanne and we can just like talk our shit. And so he was like, oh, do you want to start early? I was like, yeah, sure, why not, So I start early. Since I'm already here, might as well just make money, right? So I started early, so it's kind of like, okay. And then there'll be days that and then he'll leave because I started early. It's kind of like I'm the next body. Since he's trying to leave, I'll be like the person replacing him, even though I don't know what he does, right? And then he'll leave, and I'll be there from like 9 hours a day or 8 hours a day, and it's like crazy hours. And then he'll just disappear. I was like, okay, none of my business, And a couple months goes by, and I'm continuing doing this, like the pick up the shifts, finishing out late. It's not like I'm finishing late on purpose. It's more like we need to start cleaning because it's a restaurant. Like you have to do closing, wash dishes, make sure everything's like perfectly like prepared for tomorrow morning. And then my paycheck came in, so I was like, okay, I know for sure I work overtime. Why is my paycheck not adding up? I was like, my paycheck is not adding up. That's crazy. Like, what's going on? Like, why is, like, it's like, okay, maybe my calculation is not right. Keep in mind, like, at this location, they have to, the supervisor have to, like, log you in and log you out. They didn't have, like, that system that you log yourself in and you log yourself out. They didn't have that. Somehow, I don't even know how the system worked. You just showed up, and then the supervisor of the night or of the day, whoever is responsible, would check you in and check you out in the office where you can see them. So I was kind of like, maybe I'm the one who calculated wrong, that's crazy. So I was like, okay, it's not making sense. So I started keeping tab of my paycheck. So I started like trying to see, maybe I'm going crazy, but it's like, is that making sense? Why am I receiving the same paycheck as I'm working part-time? When I know for sure I added like a couple hours on top of it. I'm pretty sure it made like a full-time employee, right? So I was like, okay, let me not jump to conclusion, because sometimes like when I jump to conclusion, I tend to go a little bit crazy. And I started like telling Roxanne, I was like, hey, I feel like my paycheck, like something is wrong with my paycheck, like maybe I'm going crazy. And she was like, Santike, please don't bring this up. I was like, I'm not gonna bring it up. It's okay. Like I'm not gonna bring it up. But it's just like, don't you think it's crazy all those times that you call in sick and I took your shift and all the time that this motherfucker, this nigga will leave early and then ask me to stay, and I'm still getting the same paycheck? And she was like, yeah, that's fucked up, bro. That's fucked up. I was like, yeah, it does not make sense. And she was like, okay, just like, don't bring it up. Just like leave it as it is. And then just like keep tab on it. And I'm like, girl, I'm already on it. I went on my phone. I downloaded the app that's like, check in, check out the shifts. Like, and then you enter like how much they pay you per hours. And then you enter like every time you go to work, you check yourself in on your phone. And every time you finish work, you check yourself out. So you know exactly how many hours you do per week. So I started like doing that. And then my other paycheck came in after like the first one, the one that was like big question mark. It came in and I was like, and I looked at Roxanne, I was like, girl, again, like literally like again, even if I'm missing $20, like $20 a lot for me. Like I could buy basketballs with that, even though I know I won't. So I'll go get my nails done, or I'll pay for something that's not important. But again, I work for the money, so I can do whatever I want with it. So I was like, girl, I need to say something. She was like, Sentike, oh, ramène pas les police là, ramène pas les trucs là, and I'm like, girl, I'm not gonna bring, like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, detective here. Like, I'm not gonna come out like that. I'm just gonna, like, slightly bring it up a little bit, you know? I won't do it with this second paycheck, but I would do it like the next one. For sure, if I'm missing money, we're gonna have a problem. We are going to have a problem. And she was like, Sentike, hold up. And I was like, girl, the money that I'm missing every time, like, we could go get our nails. I could pay for both of us. And she was like, you're right. I was like, yeah, of course I'm right, you know? And then after that, so I was like, okay, this time me and her, we kind of like look into it. And I started talking to the other guy, like that I said, the supervisor, the guy that was new, and then he became a supervisor. I started talking, me and him, like, this close. We used to even go to the movie together, you know? Yeah. And then he started asking me a question. I'm like, I usually work with you. Like, were you logging me in and out? And he was like, yeah. I was like, logging you in and out. And I'm like, well, my last paycheck came out like 500. And he was like, that's weird because I work the same hours as you and I make $1 more than you and I got like $1,000 something. And I'm like, really? And he was like, yeah. I was like, okay. But he's just like, what? Like, I asked him, so what do I do? Since like what do I do? Because this is not okay, and then I need my money. And he's like, oh yeah, for sure. And I'm like, what do you think is happening to my paycheck? Because that's like a lot of money that I'm missing on my paycheck, and it's not okay. And he was like, well, the general manager there, he always leave early, and then I don't understand how he makes his money. And I'm like, I don't understand either. And but whatever it is, it needs to be fixed because they can play with someone else but not me. They can play with someone else but not me. Especially, I'm telling you, my parents, they're not supporting me. My parents are not like, oh, Cintika, we're gonna send you money. Mind you, we are 8 kids, 8 motherfucking kids in the family, and I'm the what? The oldest, of course. And I'm the what? The oldest, and I'm the shortest of them all. So I was like, no, I need to pay for my book. There's a lot of shit I need to do. There's a lot of shit I needed to do. So he cannot play with my money. He can play with someone else's money, but not mine. So I was like, okay, should I bring it up? And he was like, okay, let me look into it on my end and see what's going on. So I was like, okay, I trust you. I trust you. If you don't fix it, when I go into movie, you know? And he was like, no, I got you, girl. No, don't play like that, right? And I trust you, 100%. So a couple weeks goes by, he looked into it, and he was like, I believe I know where your money's going, but I don't know how to fix it. I was like, okay, where's my money going? And he was like, oh, so remember all those time when you come in early and he asked you to stay? And I'm like, I was like, yeah. So I believe what he's doing, every time someone comes in early, he takes 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, technically, because you cannot work overtime. I was like, I don't care if I can work overtime. If I work overtime, I get paid for overtime, you know? And he was like, so I believe he's been taking those extra hours for himself since technically he's not working. He comes in to make sure everything is good and he disappears. Or sometimes he just doesn't come in at all, you know? I was like, And you say you can't fix it? And he was like, yeah. I was like, are you sure? He was like, I cannot fix it. And I'm like, well, don't be surprised if I fixed it for you. And he was like, go ahead. And I'm like, well, I'll see you at the movie. But thank you, I'll fix this. Because the next movie you're paying because your sister over here is broke. And he was like, I got you. I was like, okay, perfect. Perfecto. So my little app, from day one, from the beginning of how they usually count to like pay you, the beginning of the week, I started counting. Okay, I went in Monday, 5 to 10:30, 5 to 11 because closing time. The next day didn't work. The day after, Roxanne didn't work, called in sick. I went in, calculate her hours from this time to this time. Keep in mind, I didn't have school on Friday. Every Friday, didn't have college at all because my college teacher was like, I'm giving you guys a long weekend. I was like, you know. So Friday, Roxanne didn't work. Fridays, Roxanne's supposed to work in the morning. She called in sick, so I went in on her behalf, and also, I supposed to work from 5 to closing. So mind you, Roxanne opened from 10 to 5. So all day, I was at work. I was doing one of those double shifts, you know. And the guy came in, he was happy, blah, blah, blah. He was talking. And mind you, at this time, I already met the owner, right? And he was, like, super tall. And then, like, he was, like, so, like, not strict, but he was, like, he had, like, that face that's just, like, there's no smile. You won't see him. You can never catch him smile, you know? So he just come in, and then sometimes he just passed by, and I don't know for what, none of my business. But I saw him before, so I know who he is, and he know who I am, because I'm pretty, like, if you walk into a room, you won't miss me. Like, I'm right there. Like, I'm a pretty, like, I'm not really talkative person, but I'm kind of like talkative person. But you won't be able to miss me. So he knew who I was, right? So at this point, I was like, okay. So I calculate every time for 2 weeks straight. The paycheck came after doing 48 hours. 48 hours a week. Normally I'm part-time, but I'm doing overtime because I'm taking Roxanne's shift. And I'm staying 1 hour later. Like I'm starting like 2 hours earlier because sometimes I go there early, like I stated before. So I'm overtime at this point, like 48 plus 48. Make your math and tell me how much is that if you're getting paid. I think at that time it was like $14. So I was like, my paycheck came back $800. Was it $800? Whatever it is, I was missing money. My paycheck, I got my paycheck. I called my friend. I was like, started yelling on the phone. I was like, okay, no way, this motherfucker. No way. And Roxanne was like, please don't start. I was like, girl. She said, nah. You know? I was like, girl, like, this is too much. This is over $100. This is over $500 that they took off my paycheck. So I was like, no. Like, this time, I was like, I'm sorry, Roxanne, I have to say something. I can't. You know what? I have a plan. I went in. I wasn't supposed to work the next day after my paycheck. I went in. Roxana was working. And I was like, hey, to the GM, I was like, hey, can we talk? And he was like, oh, about what? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, hi, Cindy, you're not supposed to work today. Da, 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 da. And I was like, oh, I know. I just wanted to, like, see... Like, I want to talk about my paycheck. And he's like, oh, what do you want to talk about? So, mind you, he's just moving around, like, touching stuff, like, placing stuff, like, acting busy. Not really acting busy. He was actually really busy, like, moving stuff, picking up boxes. And I'm just, like, following him, like, a little girl following their parents, you know? So I was like, yeah, it's, like, not, like, I have this app on my phone that since we cannot log ourselves in, and then I'm just kind of, like, trying to, like, because I know I've been working a lot of, like, overtime, and then I don't think my paycheck is adding up with it. And he was like, really? You have this app? Does it work? I was like, yeah, it works perfectly fine. You just enter the amount that they're paying you per hour. And then every time you come in, you check yourself in, you check yourself out, because we don't check ourselves in here. So I wanted to see maybe I'm not going crazy, because this is a 3rd or 5th paycheck that I don't see any different. It's just $100 different for working from 30 hours to 48 hours, only $100 different. It does not make sense to me. And I calculated back the taxes off, and it does not make sense. So I did print out an envelope, right, for him. And I did print 2, one for myself and one for him. And then he was like, oh, does it work? So I showed him the app, and I was like, yeah, it says here that I was supposed to receive $1,500 or $1,000 something, but my paycheck came out $600 or $700. So I don't understand why, if I was here all week times 2. And he was like, oh, yeah. It makes sense. I don't understand why I would do that. You sure the app works? I was like, it worked perfectly fine. And then I was like, yeah. And then he was like, oh, show me. So I show him the app and I show him like how it works and everything. And he's like, damn, yeah, that makes sense. I don't understand. And I was like, yeah. Okay. I was like, well, will you take a look into it? Because me, I don't understand. And I need my money today. And like, I need my money. Not even today. I was like, I need my money. Roxanne is over there at the front. Like, she's like stressing. And I'm like, girl, don't stress, And he was like, oh, so this guy went to look into it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, if you want, I even told the guy, and I was like, if you want, I can talk to the owner, because technically I understand he's the one who usually write the check, blah, 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 and all that. And he was like, no, you don't need to talk to the owner. You don't need to talk to him. I will talk to him. And I was like, for sure. Did he talk to the owner? No, he didn't. 1 week went by. I still don't have my money. I was so pissed. I could have got more, because whatever he was doing, it was shitty. But he didn't talk to my manager. So every day I see him. It's like, hey, what's the solution about my last paycheck? Oh, yes, I'm talking to the manager, blah, blah, the owner, and I haven't heard back, blah, blah, blah. I was like, are you sure? Because I have his number. I can reach out to him. I don't mind. I'm just waiting for you to let me know what's the next step. But if it's going to take longer than that, I can reach out to him, because this is unacceptable. And he's like, oh, yeah, I understand, blah, 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 blah. Don't worry, I got you. I was like, okay. Next day came back. Have you heard back? No. I was like, okay, at this point, I pulled out my phone. I was like, let me just call him. Let me see why he's not answering you, especially if you're running his business. So if you, like, some urgency comes up, well, what are you going to do if this guy is not answering? Oh, no. The next day, literally the next day, why the owner came and delivered the check himself. Yep. The owner came in. He didn't even say hi to me. He gave me a check. He wrote me a check of $700. $700 something. And then he was like, here you go, Santika. I was like, thank you. And then I walk away. I went back to do my business, And then I was like, and then I show Roxanne, I'm like, you see? And then you trying to tell me to let go. And she's like, sis, it's just like, I don't like talking to, like, I was like, girl, now we can go get our nails done. And she's like, yeah. And then it's like, she called in sick. I didn't take her shift. So like, we went to eat. We went to do us. And then after that, I was like, okay, let's go back to, like, I was still working there. But I told them, like, I will sue. But, like, before they give me my check, if they don't give me my check, I told them, I was like, I'm going to sue. But since they gave me my checks, I was kind of, like, dumb and young, I guess. So since I got my checks and I went all about my business, I started working because I was so convinced that it was, like a little glitch in the system. Came to find out he was not only doing this to me, he was doing this to everybody that works there. I was just I was just the one that wouldn't take no for an answer, because, like, he's your boss, he could fire you. But I knew my right, and I would suggest everybody else out there, my advice to you guys, to always know your right. When something is wrong, speak up. Protect yourself, because a lot of people, they say, oh, she's a small little girl, she's a small person, or she's under me, she won't be able to do anything. And 99% of the time, that's actually really true. And my advice to you guys, know your right, stand up for yourself no matter what. And look into something. If it doesn't make sense, don't always think it's just like an illusion. Something is always like, oh yeah, maybe just a glitch. No, don't think that. Just look into it. Do your investigation to protect yourself, because 99% of the time, these businesses, they don't care about you. Today you're here, tomorrow you're gone, and then they replace you just like that. They say, oh, we care about our employee. No, they don't. You're just another number added to the list. And I would say, just don't let people walk all over you, even if it's not in business, not even if it's not in workplace, even if it's somewhere else in public. If something doesn't seem right, if your gut's telling you this is not right, 99% of the time it's always right. So listen to your intuition. Listen to why you're feeling inside. 99% of the time it's always right. So don't ever doubt yourself. So that's my advice to everybody. So I'll say a couple weeks later, he quit. And the reason why he quit is because whatever I did is I brought light to the situation that was going on within the restaurant. Was he was not there 99% of the time because the owner was showing up randomly and he wouldn't find him there. And the fact that owner had to write me a check, and he's kind of like, how do we manage to miss that much money on someone's paycheck? This is like bad business for my work. This is bad business for, because everybody know by law you have to pay your employee after they give you service, they finish doing something for you. You have to pay them correctly. You cannot just like mooches off of them, you know. So before the owner fired him, so he just like, I think they gave him some type of like, you leave, there won't be any charges or there won't be anything. You leave just by yourself, like you quit, you found something better, or we fire you and then it becomes a bigger problem. So I believe they gave him that type of choice, and then he decided to take the easy way out. And mind you, he was not a bad boss. He was not like a bad person. He was like kind of like easy guy to work with. He was like easy going, like you can talk to him about anything, you know. So I think he took the easy way out. A small little person like me managed to fight for herself and speak her truth. Well, everybody else who's older than me couldn't speak the truth, or scared to speak the truth because the someone of power is, it was intimidating for them because this person has more power than this little guy at the bottom. And the reason why this story is so important is because a lot of us, even if we're younger, we need to start to open up at not everybody that smile to your face is really your friend. Not everybody that's happy or workplace people is always going to be your workplace people. Look after yourself because no one else is going to look after you, you know. And you got you, nobody else got you. And I told this story to my dad, and my dad was like, well, I won't be able to do what you did, and I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, you taught me well, and as long as you know you're right, because they can't fire you for questioning what's on your paycheck. Point period. If I say something's wrong, just say I don't understand my paycheck, and please explain to me. And then I know this is how many hours I did. This is how much I make per hour. The tax is the percentage. Please break it down for me. It's simple as that. They should be able to have the answer for you. They should be able to have pay stub explaining everything A to Z. Everything should be able to make sense. Yeah, that's take what you need from this and run with it. But I would just say be careful out there. There's a lot of bad guy, and they all look just like me and you. I'll be your friend today, but I'm scamming you a little bit. You never know. So yeah, that's my story, how I got my general manager fired. Technically he quit because he's a coward. And yeah, speak up for yourself. And I'm out.
Many reasons where I want for you, my love. Now you I want to retire with my love. See what you did, good things you